What's good out there, sports fans? Y'all are once again live in the War Room. Brought to you by War Room Sports on that WRS Podcast Network. I'm your boy, Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table with my bros, Jimmy the Blueprint and V. Austin. We're going to discuss Fall Guys. So much more today. And in about 30 minutes, we'll talk to Fred Perdue about the latest in college football. So keep it locked right here. And if you want to get in on the live conversation, join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 30 minutes when we give you that access to the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, make sure you remember to make the War Room Sports Podcast Network a part of your daily routine. When the War Room isn't live on the air, visit warroomsports.com and click the WRS Podcast Network tab, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app or on iTunes. In addition to the War Room, you'll find archived episodes of some of the best shows on the web, such as the Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris, After Further Review with the Mayor, the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil and Savage, Sports Trap Radio with Brandon and Anthony, the Mad Scientist Sports Lab with Nick Ficarelli, and a whole host of other shows. You can also check the listings over at fatsradio.com for airtimes of all your favorite WRSPN sports shows, including The War Room, which airs over there a few times per week. Fellas, what's going on this week, man? It's real in those streets, man. They killing people on live TV now. What's up with that?
It's the end of the world, man. End of the world. Apocalypse. I expect zombies to show up soon.
Did y'all see that video? I know, Jimmy. I know you tried to share it with me. I think I waited too long and they took it down.
I saw the video and it was disturbing, man. But I'm just trying to make sure my name don't pop up in that Ashley Madison thing. So I really ain't been focused on nothing else.
Yeah, you're crazy. But yeah, for everybody out there who don't know what we're talking about, there was a newscaster who shot another newscaster and the cameraman live on TV while they were reporting the news. He ran from police for a little while and then actually ended up shooting himself. That's a crazy, crazy world that we live in. I don't get what's going on out here in these streets, but it's weird, man. But look, let's talk about the sports because that's what we're here to do. And we're going to let y'all know what happened this week while y'all were on the grind trying to make that good money, trying to feed your family and all that good stuff. And while you're on the grind, it's brought to you by DirecTV, as usual. If you like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including that NFL Sunday ticket, which you will need in about 3 weeks, go to our website, warroomsports.com, click on the DirecTV logo, order yourself a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. You call yourself a sports fan, then you gotta have DirecTV. Yo, sad news came down the wire today as a former 76er star and New Jersey Nets star Darryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder, passed away at age 58. I don't know what the cause, I don't know what the deal is, but Darryl Dawkins is gone, y'all, at age 58, man. What memory do you guys have of Chocolate Thunder?
So the nicknames and the loud suits. I mean, obviously, the first memory is the dunk in which he pulled the rim down. Like, that was replayed so many times in my life. But as you got older, and start going to the games, you would see him at the games with the loud suits on. I don't know who was worse, him or World Be Free. World Be Free kind of tamed it down. Dawkins has no chill in terms of his suits. But, with all that being said, man, definitely a legend from the Sixers standpoint. He also played for the Nets. But, it is what it is, man. Shout out to Darryl Dawkins, man. Rest in power. Will be missed.
Yeah, my man, the name is Dunks. Like you say, he's a history maker, First dude ever to get drafted out of high school, so
yeah, he brought
living infamy that. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't taking it back to his playing career, like he wasn't that game changer that the Sixers thought they were getting when they got him. But, you know, he had a solid 15-year career in the league, came back and did some work with the team in a not really a front office capacity, but in like a marketing ambassador-like capacity. So shout out
cheerleader
to with the long-ass suits. But shout out and rest in power to the homie Daryl Dawkins, man. Chocolate Thunder, you will never be forgotten. Remember we talked about the former Ravens cheerleader, the old chick, the cougar, who had sexual relations with her son's 15-year-old friend?
Yeah, well, Molly shook your bones.
Yeah, Molly Shattuck. She was sentenced for, the raping of a 15-year-old boy, but her sentence consisted of 48 weekends in jail. And it's not just consecutive weekends, which is a weird thing in itself, but she has to spend not even 48 consecutive weekends. She has to spend every other weekend in jail throughout her sentence. Now, what the hell kind of sentence is this? Have you guys ever heard of a sentence where somebody has to spend every other weekend in a detention center?
Nah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and make our sponsors and advertisers mad on my red, black, and green. And I apologize, y'all, but this is basically what happens when you're a white woman and you do a crime like rape. Like,
you got money.
Like your husband. And you got money. You got money. Like, I've done. Never mind. I ain't gonna throw myself under the bus, but I know of people that have done worse. I know people that have done worse for selling Lucy cigarettes. Like, done more time. Like, literally done more time. I know a guy that gave his life in New York to police for selling Lucy cigarettes. Like,
Eric Gardner.
This is outside. This is.
You know what though? Let me chime in real quick. Let me chime in, good brother. Because here's the thing though. In the words of Dr. Cornel West, race matters and always does. But it's also a little bit of like sexism as well. Because even if he was white and this was a male who had sex with a minor who was a female, they would have roofed him too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a double standard when it comes to the whole concept of rape, sexual assault, any sort of sex crime. There's a double standard. I mean,
you were just talking about that last week, Jim. You were just talking about that on the air last week.
I was just talking about that in reference to how they make jokes on the front of the paper about Jared being raped in prison. Like if it was a female going to prison, they would never say like, yeah, you're going to get there and get raped. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just ridiculous, man. Then when you add the whole rape,
they would go crazy over the fact that they even used that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like imagine a woman, like regardless of what she did, imagine her being on the front page of the paper and they make a joke about her being raped in prison. Like really? And you talk about her having this crime. If she was a male, let's just because we can go deep into the whole race issue because race does matter. But let's just go into the whole sex issue. This was a white male who was who was committing BBR on a young lady. No way. There's no way he'd get off like this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I had to take it. I agree with you as well, Jimmy. But I had to take it in that direction because to me, the justice system is it's such a joke though. Like with all that's going on in this country, historically, and then with social media allowing it to explode and contributing to what it is we see and interact with personally with all that's going on in the last 5 years. Like anything like this, you can just point to the privilege or the lack thereof of the stakeholders in the story or what's going on. Like,
listen, man,
this is crazy.
You're right. You talked about our justice system, man. In the words of Chris Parker, aka KRS-One, you can never get justice on stolen land. So, let's just take it there, because there are so many flaws within our justice system, man. That we can do a whole podcast on that. And I know we got to move on, but this was a joke. And I find
she's gonna be busy on the weekends. Like you can't schedule nothing with her on the weekends for the next 2 years. Have you guys ever even heard of anything like that though? It's like, she come home every Monday. She have a coming home party every Monday. Like, this is weird, man. This is weird. I've never seen anything.
It's real corny. It's corny.
All right, well. Man, Michael Jordan, he was awarded $8.9 million in a lawsuit over the use of his name. He actually sued a major grocery store chain who basically involved his name in an ad without his permission. But when I saw the ad, I was expecting them to be using it like, you know, the Michael Jordan special or something like that. The ad said something like, "Congratulations to Michael Jordan." Now, I never got deep enough to see what they were congratulating him for, but, you know, because just off headline value, I kind of understood that. You can't just use the man's name, his likeness, or anything like that and get paid off of it without his permission. But then I saw, like, okay, was there any case that they could have made that they were just congratulating him since he was, because I believe this was a Chicago area store. You guys got any information on this? What do you think of this case?
Michael Jordan has the full power of. Here's where, you know, Jimmy and I kind of we I know where he's gonna go with it, and I think I agree. Here's where Mike has the full power of the legal system, because he's able to not only invest in the very best and brightest of attorneys, but then he has a whole machine behind him in Nike. So who knows what resources he brought to bear just to smack somebody around legally. Like, that's what this boils down to.
Yo, the crazy part is they said 2 jurors asked him for a photo after the proceedings, and he took a cell phone picture with him. So, the jurors know, and they're in Chicago. This is Michael Jordan. Like, did the other party have a chance? Ever?
No.
Here's the thing,
they got railroaded. They got railroaded.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? You're talking about, like you said, Michael Jordan in Chicago. And I'm not even going to go there with this story, B. Austin, because, like, they definitely used his likeness, even if they were congratulating him. My thing is, before he took it to court, now I'm assuming, because the right thing to do is like, tell him to stop before you get to the point where you have to take him to court. Now, they weren't willing to stop, and you had to go through with the lawsuit. I'm actually on Mike's side on this, believe it or not. Like,
well, it wasn't that kind of thing. It was one ad. It was one ad in a Sports Illustrated back in 2009. I found the story. It said the ad congratulated Jordan on his Hall of Fame induction and included a $2 off coupon above the photo of a sizzling steak. So they were congratulating him on going to the Hall of Fame. So I got mixed feelings about it, because I mean,
in that case right there, Michael Jordan is the scum. Michael Jordan is the worst human being. If that's the case, what you just said, I thought it was something different. I thought it was like a thing they had outside where they continuously ran that ad. Yeah, I thought they continuously ran the ad.
You thought they were using him. Nah, I knew that part of the story. I knew that part. I didn't even. Yeah,
this was,
they were looking out.
The supermarket is now.
He's a scum.
The supermarket is now defunct. It was called Dominic's Finer Foods, but it's owned by Safeway. So Safeway had to cough up that $8.9 million. And from what I'm reading, it was one ad in a Sports Illustrated that said, "Congratulations, Mike, on making the Hall of Fame." So this is Chicago. This is a Chicago area store congratulating the man who played in their city for so many years and won 6 titles with them. They congratulated him on an ad, and he sued them for $9 million for using his likeness. There's 2 sides of this that you can kind of understand certain things, but
you definitely
I don't know
have
about
to
a congratulatory ad.
Protect your brand and your likeness, and there's no one with a more popular likeness than Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So you have to protect your likeness and your brand. But at what expense, man? Like, you probably are. There's probably people at the end of this whole thing who will lose their job. And I don't know if it was done in malice. I don't know what kind of conversations he's had with them before it proceeded to the point where it ended up in this lawsuit. But I can't see it being done in malice or trying to be slick. Maybe they were like, okay, we're going to use his likeness to get some money because it looks like Michael Jordan endorses our restaurant. I don't know. This whole thing is just it's kind of weird, man. But Jordan is known to be a scum anyway. I mean, Republicans buy sneakers too, so.
Oh, yeah, and before we move on to y'all man, IK Holyfield, I wanted to go back to the judge who sentenced Molly Shattuck. Molly has already been a nominee of our JoJo of the Week award when she was, first brought up on these charges. But the judge sentenced her to 48 weekends, every other weekend for the next 2 years.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
young man IK and M. Kapali is back in the news. Of course, we all remember him as being the guy who broke Geno Smith's jaw and now is a member of the Buffalo Bills. We'll see how long that lasts. But we already knew that wasn't his first run-in with violence, like temperament-involved violence, because he got in trouble back in school for punching an off-duty cop. I'm not sure if he knew it was an off-duty cop. I'm not too familiar with that story. But they dug up another story on this guy from back in 2011. He was involved in like a catfishing type incident where he met a woman online, or at least someone he thought was a woman, and then when he finally met the person and realized that they were a man, he punched them too. So you know, IK, that's the thing. He just go around stealing people, yo. Jim, what's wrong with your man, yo?
They don't got no in them hands.
Yo, he has this, man. Bottom line is IK has no problem letting them hands go. He's about that life, and you know he should maybe box or do MMA or something. You know, because it seems like his first instinct is like the swing, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So you know what's going on? What's wrong with him, man?
On one hand, I can definitely say that the proper way to handle conflicts and discord and disagreements in your adult life is not to punch people and get into fisticuffs, but at the very least, I mean, he don't walk away from conflict and he steps up and shoots the fair one pretty quickly.
Yeah, dude, he definitely seems like he's one of those aggressive football. I mean, think about it. He's a linebacker. Every linebacker I ever hung with in college, or they were kind of aggressive. Like to throw hands at the drop of a dime. So he's just an LB being an LB. But yeah, he'll put his hands on anybody at any given time if he feels disrespected, threatened, or anything like that. So IK, man, you got to chill, man. I think I'm going to have to give you one of these. I know this happened back in 2011. The other thing happened back in like 2011. But you stole Geno like 3 weeks ago. You punching too many people, man. You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. Nonviolent.
Let's just hope that we don't. Let's hope we don't walk out your house and he's out there. He might swing on you before you realize it's him.
Exactly. All right, so speaking of swinging, we got a fight coming up. I'm not even sure if any of you guys out there in Radio Land even knew about this fight. Shane Mosley is fighting Mayorga. They had a press conference where they were about to do their face-to-face thing, and Shane's woman dropped something on the floor, so she bent over to get it, and Mayorga gave her a quick, swift slap on the ass. Shane tried to choke him out.
Sperm, Joe.
Little fake brawl ensued. Everybody got held back. Shane afterwards said he's going to try to kill him in the ring. He's going to go right at him. Fellas, first of all, before I ask you what you would have done in a scenario like this, let me ask you first, because the first, when we put it on our page, even though it may have been a thought that ran through our mind as well, but that wasn't the question we were asking. But everybody is talking about how this scene probably was staged, and they probably did this to sell the fight that no one actually knew about. It makes sense to me when you hear that kind of thing, because they did interview Shane afterwards, and he was talking about how he's going to come right out and try to kill him and go right at him. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to say to try to get people interested in the bout. So, first of all, do you guys think that this whole thing was staged?
Yes. Maybe even not to the extent that they told Shane exactly what was going to happen, but they told him when you get on that stage, something is going to happen. You're dealing with a guy in Mayorga that literally eats cigarettes. Like, he eats cigarettes. So he's liable to do anything. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm just a regular dude. Like, I'm not a fighter. I'm not some cock strong. I will knock you the F out if I can, but if I'm a boxer and you smack my woman's behind firmly, like you coming out of Doggy or Froggy, like, my first impulse isn't to choke you out. Like, I'm going to steal you with the hand of God. He went and choked.
Like my thing is, it is like if that's me, the I've got to come out. But second of all, it has to be staged because like the whole way it happened. First of all, why is she even up there? Right? That's one. Two.
And why is she bending over?
This is what Golden Boy has come to now. I guess Al Heyman put the pressure on him, so now Golden Boy got to draw. And Dev made the biggest point leading into this story is until this happened, none of us even knew about the fight, but now everyone knows about the fight. I don't know how much that's going to help them, but everyone does know. And there are some people I've seen online. Yeah, some people I've seen online who saw that and was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens now after he touched. And they're going to market that. They're going to talk about that leading up to the fight. So it definitely is some Vince McMahon type stuff. And the interview after kind of guaranteed me. It made me 98.7% sure that it's fake because she's completely acting. No, you gotta kill him. You gotta kick him when he falls down. Like it's so scripted. Right. And he's like,
can you tie his hands around his back so I can get some punches off? Something stupid like that.
Yeah, I'll pay him $10,000. Like I swear, it was like Miss Elizabeth and Randy Macho Man Savage. Like after the whole thing happened, so it's completely scripted. But
something else. If you look at the video closely, something else that could kind of tip you off. Shane's pop. Like I guess he didn't know where he was supposed to be standing for the scene. So he actually got in the way, and you see Shane pull him out of the way and place him like where he's supposed to be. And right after he does that, that's when she bends down and gets her booty tapped. So that could be coincidence, but everything is pointing to the fact that it is staged. Now, the question that we put on our Facebook page was basically, forget about the fact that it does look staged. If you're caught in this scenario and it's a real scenario, like what do? You brothers already kind of addressed that. And I agree with B. Austin, the fact that he is a boxer, so you would think that his first instinct would be to throw some hands. But then at the same time, you do know that the other guy's a boxer too. So you might want to grab him and get the upper hand since you don't have gloves on.
Let's put it like this, though.
My man tried to choke slam him with two hands, though.
Let's put it like this.
I mean that could be a real response.
But here's my
choking
thing.
Somebody out is kind of.
If Mayorga did that to IK and Kampali, whatever, what do y'all think would happen then?
He would get dead. He would be dead.
The hands would be thrown.
he would have Zab Juda'd him. He'd have lost control of his whole right leg.
Yeah, he would have had them Zab Judah noodle legs.
Yo, that's a great. Wait, I never asked Tony this question. What part of the head do you have to hit someone in that their nervous system shuts down their right leg?
Yo, I've seen 2 videos in the past 2 days where somebody got punched real hard and their right leg just started doing all kinds of dances that the body wasn't asking it to do. Jimmy reminded us when he sent us that Zab Judah video that we all watch at least once every 2 months. And then, just one regular fight video that we probably got from World Star or something. Especially the right leg.
Yo, shout out to Costa Zoo. You my man, yo. Shout out to Costa Zoo.
Because the thing about it is, right, there are a lot of, more devastating and hard knockouts where someone just gets, their block knocked off. But there is not a greater knockout in the history of pugilism than that Zab Judah one. Because Zab Judah, lost control of his legs. He started cussing out the ref for no reason. He just he got up.
No, but look, he tried to rumble the ref and his legs weren't involved. Yo, but his legs was still noodly. He was doing the shaky leg trying to rumble the ref.
The ref had nothing to do with it. As soon as he got up, he started quick walking. He pointed his glove at the ref. What are you saying to the ref? The ref didn't hit you.
Yo, man.
My man got up and said, that's corny.
Like Jimmy said though, if Golden Boy, if this is what you've resorted to, or if by the 0.6% chance that this was real, Shane, you might deserve one of these for not killing the dude on spot. So I'm gonna give 2 of them out in one. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Golden Boy. Real or stage, kudos to Mayorga, though, for tapping that booty.
Oh yeah, she had a little jig.
He had more.
It's some nice booty meat there. But listen though, I just had an idea. Like we should reach out to JoJo and have him sing it live on our show and then use that as a clip. That would be great.
He's definitely available.
A live show and have JoJo sing. That's what's up. Maybe we do that like when we do our on-location show.
All we need is an 8-ball. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah,
all right.
Well, that's what happened. Ruin that idea.
Yeah. JoJo like, what? He probably was down.
Now I need a bird.
Hey, Jim, man, tell everybody who's having a birthday today, man, or this week.
Absolutely. Birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence, top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available. Visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And if you want the hookup, as Master P would say, just say, look, War Room Sports sent me. You get a special rate. Now, some great birthdays this week. Yay! Jamal Lewis turns 30.
Speaking of
8 balls and bricks.
Bricks.
Jamal Lewis turns 36. I'm in love with the go. Tommy Heinsohn also turned 78. We also have Darren Mc.
Hold up, Jim. I can't let you get past Tommy Heinsohn without me dissing him for at least a minute. I'm sure everybody out there who in the past decade has been an NBA League Pass subscriber and you ever flip past a Celtics game, you know who Tommy Heinsohn is. He's the biggest homer in broadcasting when it comes to the Boston Celtics. Yo, he gets on my everlasting nerves. Bigger than who?
Steve Buckhantz for the Wizards?
Oh, yeah. See, you just live in the Wizards area, so you just, Buckhantz is definitely a homer, but you're just used to hearing so much of him. Like, it took you years to realize how big of a homer Buckhantz was. Just listen to Tommy Heinsohn for about 4 plays up and down the court, and you'd be disgusted. But I mean, he's a Celtic lifer. I mean, he was a player, a coach, a broadcaster, so you understand. But at the same time, it's like that's not what people want to hear, especially when you're marketing this stuff nationwide now. You're doing League Pass. You're not just talking to people from New England. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to everybody, and everybody doesn't want to hear that all the time. So shout out to you on your birthday, but you got to chill, man.
Yeah, he definitely is a homer. And you know the funny thing about that? It used to be a thing where you wouldn't have that in sports, but he's one of the pioneers of just not hiding your allegiance to a team.
Richard Rodgers. He's one of the pioneers, Richard Rodgers.
Yo, but no, I'm saying, think about it. All the local broadcasters, like when they would have a national game, would sometimes curb, their allegiance to the home team. But these days, that's out the window. Anyway,
yo, Mark Zumoff get hyped when the other team scored. He objective as they come. Shout out to Mark Zumoff.
Yo, he was a job security. And then, anyway, another birthday, one Darren McFadden, who seems to always be heard. He turns 28 years of age. When he plays, it's like, yo, this dude nice. But then, like, the very next game, he's out.
Then, like, three quarters later.
When he plays, Jimmy, when you seen him play?
He'd be a fantasy stud for like
Dev just stole Dev stole out of my mouth. 3 quarters, he'll put up buckets. Then he gets injured, but shout out to him anyway. Jim Thome, HOF or FOH, Jim Thome, 46 years of age. What you guys say?
Damn, Jim Thome old as shit. I mean, old as damn. I forgot what we're doing right now.
He was just playing a couple of days ago. He played a long time.
I think we debated Jim Thome before.
Well, we definitely did debate. We talked about his home run numbers, but the fact of the matter is, I know I say FOH, but he does have the home run numbers. But that's all you care about. Other than that, that's all.
Because when you judge by baseball standards, it's like maybe because baseball really is all about numbers. But it's like, he's never really done anything. Like, even though he's a home run hitter, Jim Thome doesn't scare me, or never has.
Not at all.
Oh.
Yo, not at all. Yo. Anyway, man, those are the birthdays for the week. We'd like to give a nice big War Room salute to all these folks on their birthday. Before we move forward, Dad, we have to let everyone know how to get in touch with us and what's going on.
Y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com to find out what's going on. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our newsletter. You can click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about the company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, because we do have them. You can also inquire about joining the network. If you're a writer, hey, if you're a podcast host, whatever you do, hit us up and we see what we can get done. For general inquiries, just email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the website, click the memorabilia tab. Support the brothers. Click that tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab and read the latest articles in the All Fair and Sports and War blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app on Android and iOS to get everything I just mentioned on the go. Right now during the show, join the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't already have one, or if you don't want one, you can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, make sure you click follow. That'll get you updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. But to call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, press 1 if you want to talk. Now, we're about to get into some NFL talk, so if you're on the line waiting to talk some football, this is your time. If you want to talk some football, this is your time. So, again, call that number, 323-410-0012. Press 1. Peace.
Yes, sir. It's time to have our NFL wrap, but before we do that, I have to tell you guys one thing. NFL Wrap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. That's extremely easy. Just go to warroomsports.com, click on that Fanatics logo. You can also go to our sponsors page, click on the Fanatics logo, and you can get you a Darren McFadden jersey that's good for about 3 quarters. There's a lot of people switching teams or what have you. You can get yourself some overrated quarterbacks who makes too much money. You can go get their jersey. You know what I mean? So definitely check that out. Go to warroomsports.com and click on that Fanatics logo. Gentlemen, let's talk some NFL. Hey, Tobias, we see you on the line. We're going to talk about this one story real quick before we bring you on, so you can also give us your thoughts on this. Chris Carter,
might go a minute with this one.
Or as he's called, CC. He tells the 2014 rookies, like, listen, you need to have a fall guy. Before I say anything else, let's just play the clip of what Chris Carter said. Hold on.
And just in case y'all not going to decide to do the right thing, if y'all got a crew, you got to have a fall guy in the crew. Teddy, come here, man. Teddy, come here, man. Come here, man. Come here, bro. Come here. Now, if they going to keep rolling on Teddy's bankroll, because each one of y'all in business for yourself. This right here is Teddy Bridgewater, Inc., Incorporated. That's him. Now, every dime that come into Teddy, all right, is going to be earned by him and this body. All right? Now, I let my homeboys know. Y'all want to keep rolling like this? Then I need to know who's going to be the fall guy, who's going to be driving, because y'all not going to all do the right stuff now. All right? So I got to teach y'all how to get around all this stuff, too. If you're going to have a crew, one of them fools got to know he going to jail. We'll get him out. We'll get him out. Now, you from Miami now, okay? Y'all take care of each other. Yeah. Now, don't you got a guy that would take care of you and that would be a good deal? Yeah. Okay, good. Go on, sit down. Go on, sit down.
That is mad uncomfortable right now.
If you're going to have a crew, make sure you know who's going to be the fall guy. Okay? I know none of y'all gonna never drink, leg. I know none of y'all gonna never use no drugs and everything. All y'all gonna go to Bible study. I realize that, but still get you a fall guy. Okay? If you're gonna have a crew, make sure they understand can't nothing happen to you. Your name can't be in lights under no circumstances. All right? Y'all understand that?
Yeah, so those were his comments.
First, can I talk about his English? Or lack thereof?
Come here, man. Look at his man. Come here, man. Hey, Teddy, come here, man.
Listen,
M-A-I-N-T. Come here, man.
Before we get started, we just got to let you know that CC is, tell him what CC is, Dev. CC is not cool, man. CC is not cool. Chris Carter. I'm going to call you Chris Carter. Your mama named you Chris. I'm going to call you Chris. He is a JoJo nominee. Period, point blank.
Yeah. He definitely is. He definitely is. I don't know if you wanted to start with that or not. All right. This
accountability.
This is the epitome. This is in the purest form when keeping it real goes wrong. Now, this is something that an irresponsible old head tells his young boys. This is not something that the league mandates you to speak to rookies. This is not something you tell them in this instance. I can see what the league was doing. They were putting two people up there, and this was last year, so this was before Warren Sapp got in his latest troubles. They were putting two people up there who had a few problems, a few brushes, a few run-ins with the law during their time, and kind of turned it around. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where the league was going with throwing these two up there, but you think at this point, after the chances that they were given and the fact that they carved out Hall of Fame careers after getting those second chances, you would think that they would have more of a responsible message to send to the rookies coming into the league. And, Sapp was back there co-signing the whole thing. And all, saying all the stuff that he wanted them to say.
If you watch it and you pay attention to body language, initially Sapp was like, yeah, we'll get him out. But then as CC kept going, Sapp started shaking his head. I think Sapp realized after a little while, like, yo, he's going in on this.
Yeah, he probably didn't think it was going to go that long. Like, he really went on a rant about getting a fall guy. This is not – now, I'm sure it's a whole lot of people out there like, oh, y'all fronting. I know y'all from back in the day, this and that.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
But this is still, right now, like, we speak to young kids a lot. Like, we go to school and we speak and try to impart advice on the youngins, and this is not the type of message that you want to tell them. You don't want to tell them how to get around the law. You want to tell them something responsible so they won't end up in these situations in the first place. These guys have a lot to lose. So it's not about telling them about needing a fall guy or anything like that. It's about giving them some advice so they don't go down the road that you went down early in your career, Chris Carter. Like, he's regretful of his comments now that they came out. This happened a year ago, and there was no public remorse then. But
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Chris Carter because he is one of my favorite players. Because all he did was score touchdowns, and he had tremendous hands. I even function under the fallacy sometimes that he's second to Jerry Rice, which is completely wrong, but I like him so much that my bias allows me to fix my mouth to say stupid stuff like that. So I'm a fan of the player, Chris Carter, and I'm happy the human being, Chris Carter, got his life together, because as a lifelong Eagles fan, I remember what he went through. I was young. I was a kid, but I was old enough to be cognizant of, oh man, Chris Carter got some issues. And then as I got older and really understood the story, no, he didn't have just brushes with the law, Deb. He had brushes with death. Like my man was smoking krill playing football. And there's a couple other dudes out there that did that as well. Shout out to Lawrence Taylor. But I mean, Chris Carter has been to Skid Row and back. And so I look at a guy like John Lucas, you know, who has fought his demons. And, you know, I don't know what John Lucas says behind closed doors. Maybe he's had one of these nut up moments and said something crazy, but in the public, none of that has come out, and he is always responsible with the message that he gives to people. And like Dev said, at his age, at Chris Carter's age, when he's dealing with guys between the age of 19 and let's say 24 who are looking up to him, who hold him in high esteem because he's been where they are going and been not only successful at it, but has stood out as an example of a guy who made it to the Hall of Fame. Yo, this is a very bad message because the comparison is with us. You know, War Room Sports, we speak to the kids. And in essence, Chris Carter was speaking to the kids. Like they're not kids. We know they're grown men, but to him at his age and what he's been through in that experience, they're still kids. They're kids. And so now, he has an impression. They're impressionable. And so I'm not going to front like some of what he was saying isn't necessarily advice that can be given in a certain context, but that was all wrong for that to be the focal point or topic of his delivery. His delivery needs to be stay your ass out of trouble, and you don't have to even the high road. He kind of took a shot at the high road. You know, he kind of like, I know you guys aren't going to Bible study. I know you guys aren't. Yo, ain't nothing wrong with telling them to go to Bible. Yo, go to Bible study if that's what you believe in. Whatever you need to do on a right and righteous path to keep yourself straight, that's what he needs to be preaching. You know, not how to skirt the system or go around the system or you know, put, you know, where's the message of accountability and personal responsibility for one's actions? You know, that's the message that needs to be given here. You know, Teddy
Bridgewater looked mad uncomfortable.
Yeah, because he knows right from wrong. He probably has a dad that told him, "Look, son, no fall guys."
Right. Well, let me get on this, Austin. Stop gunning. Listen, well, first thing is I want to say on Twitter, we got some comments. At KC Mack made a couple comments. He says that CC was right, but that has to be behind closed doors, and you also have to blame the NFL for knowing he said it, and they had it on their website for over a year. He says that Chris Carter is a snake. He's been a snake. He screwed over Michael Irvin years ago, telling his wife to leave him. I'm not familiar with that story, but it sounds like something I'll research after the show because it's hilarious. Now, my opinion on the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh when I heard it. And I heard Shaq speak. So I was interested to see what another professional athlete, a high caliber athlete, thought about it. You know, so they played the clip for Shaq, and Shaq was like, "What did he say wrong?" He was like, "Yo, his opinion was Chris was talking to a certain sect. He was kind of like talking in Ebonics, so to speak, and he was saying something that only a certain kind of person would get." I don't agree with that. But my thing is, even if you did do that, why are you saying it on that platform? It wasn't like he had 3 or 4 players on the side who are from Florida who have dreadlocks. He was saying
you can pull them in the hallway.
Yeah, you said this in front of everyone. You just have to, like, you just got to do better. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that everyone isn't going to go to Bible study. Like, I agree with him. Guys are going to make mistakes, but you have to also tell them about accountability. If they make a mistake, own up to it and grow from it. Fact of the matter is, he made mistakes and he grew from it. Now, they say that a smart person learns from their mistakes and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So he should have took an approach. Now, I didn't see the whole thing where he tells his story and how he grew from it. Not necessarily to have a fall guy. I get his point because we have had, like, you know, guys like AI come to the league with a bunch of weed carriers who, you know, but he still somehow got in trouble. Like, so I get the point he was trying to make. But the thing is like, you got to strive for greatness, man. Like, even in AI situation where he had weed carriers who didn't take the charges, it's like, we just have to do better. This is one of the things that we always talk about in reference to LeBron and how he's built his team and his brand and what he's doing. You know, he took it another level. Like, yo, because the thing about it is this: we all have knucklehead friends. We all have friends that, you know, get their Wayne Perry on or what have you. But when you get to a certain age and you become a professional, you have to separate yourself from them. You know what I mean? How about being around guys who weren't willing to be a fall guy? So there's other advice that you could have got. You could have like, you know, quote unquote, kept it real without saying what you said. You know what I mean? Like, because I felt like he was trying too hard to keep it real. But there's so many other ways you could have went about it. I'm gonna need a speechwriter is what he needs. But then again, like,
I think Jimmy, real quick before you go, Jimmy, I think that's one of the most excellent points you made. Why are you associating with dudes whose self-esteem is so low that they're willing to take charges? Like,
exactly.
Because you hoop or play ball and get millions, like, you're not, like, I don't know anyone other than my blood that I'm taking a charge for. Like, my family, who are you? Because you play in the league and you're my homie, I'm going to take, no, man. Get out of here.
Listen, man, my thing is this, though, as you grow and you mature, you have to basically separate yourself from some people. I'm pretty sure all of us have friends that we don't necessarily roll with. Not that we don't care, love them, or what have you, but you're at a different place in your life, and you want to put yourself in the best position to be successful. So, you know, not only accept responsibility, but like be around people who aren't willing to be a fall guy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Phone friends.
They
become like close friends.
You holler at them once in a while over the phone, but.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you talked about John Lucas and his struggle, but we all have to remember that Chris Carter was copping from Frank Lucas. So you also taking advice from a dopehead. But that's neither here nor there. He got himself cleaned up. But let's hear that story. You know what I mean? Like, this was just completely wrong, man. I do think that when he looked back at it, like, I kind of believe him when he says that I look back at it and realize I was wrong. I believe him because it came off to me like in the moment, he got caught up in the moment of talking to the kids. He got hyped and trying to be too cool.
He probably regretted it then and just hoped that it never came out. Like, I hope
exactly. That's the way I took it. So I'm not going to sit here and say that CC is necessarily a bad guy because I don't think he's a bad guy. Although I haven't read that Michael Irvin story, but I'm gonna look it up. But I think that he got caught up in the moment. I think that he probably does regret it, and he can learn from it, and he can use this as a tool moving forward. You know, remember, all your words are being videotaped and can come back to haunt you. Like, he went now. This is something else he could bring to the table in terms of talking to young kids, rookies, or what have you, because it's true. Everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you. It's no longer in a court of law; it's a court of life.
Right.
Bars.
Yeah,
man. So we also free jewelry. We also got the homie Tobias on. Shout out to Tobias who just called in and took a shot at Fred. I said, you know, I thought it was Fred. I was like, Fred. He's like, no, this is Tobias. This is the real college football expert. I'm like, damn. Shots fired. Let's get Tobias on the line. Tobias. Damn time.
Hey, I love Fred, man. I respect Fred for this. Hey, he's a self-made reporter who's not buck dancing with anybody. I respect Fred for that, you know.
No doubt.
I respect Fred.
Before we start on your questions, what do you think about this Chris Carter thing that happened?
Chris Carter's a coon. Can we just admit that? Remember, it's the same guy. Straight to the point. Straight to the point. Hey,
be honest here.
Hey, remember, Ray Rice got caught up right in front of Mr. Charlie, going all in. Adrian Peterson got caught up all in front of Mr. Charlie talking about, my mama beat me and crying and stuff. Dude, you don't be saying that stuff around the white man. I'm sorry. Sorry, white people out there. Just saying the truth. No ill will, just speaking the truth. You don't go on their network, on their cameras, and talk about what's going on closed doors in your business. He wasted no time going out there slamming them. And so let's be honest here. If he wanted a real fall guy, call that white guy who was going to jail with Barry Bonds every other month. Now, that's the real fall guy.
Tobias is on fire.
Hey.
All right, man. What's on your mind this week, man?
First things first. As an Alabama fan, they thought Alec Morris may be the starter. One, I thought Alec Morris graduated 2 years ago. He's another guy that couldn't beat out that running back last year. But anyway, I'm going to leave Alabama alone before I start drinking. But anyway, I saw my boy Derrick Rose.
I was getting ready to ask you, Tobias. I know you're a Bulls fan. What do you think about, Derrick Rose Cosby? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm going to give the same answer white people gave for Jared Fogle and Patrick Kane. I'm going to wait till all the facts come out. You know, you know what? Here's the thing. One, she's showing a silver suit, right? I read a lot about this. I actually read the report and everything. I'm like, hold on. If 3 dudes raped you, why are you suing the rich one? What about the other 2? You know.
Why no criminal charges?
That's my thing. And my thing is, why is it always the person accused? Man, a woman could be. It's out there. And they are drugged through the mud. They will never shake it. Because people may still think Brian Banks is a rapist. And we know that was false.
Yeah.
And
but you know what it is, man? Me and B. Austin have a theory. It's called that, it's all about the memes. Like the truth doesn't matter. Like, but the fact is, we can get some good Derrick Rose memes out of this, so we really don't care about his his reputation or what have you.
Yeah.
But you're right. Maybe they will start to prosecute him criminally, and he has to do a weekend for the next year or so. Just go in on a weekend or something like that.
Oh, he's black. He's black. He'll just do 48 years consecutively. But anyway, hey, let's just keep it real. But you know what, though? Also, I talked to a friend of mine about this. I said, this may be the new hustle. Because think about this. And I'm going conspiracy theorist here. They never found any, remember with Bill Cosby, I'm not condoning what they allegedly did, but they opened sealed documents and reset the statute of limitations there to get him. And they got money. So you can't tell me that a side chick who may get mad that she didn't find a sucker like Paul George to get a stripper pregnant may try to say, hey, you raped me to get some money. But if I'm him, I would sue. I would counter sue like Jameis Winston did. Look at Jameis Winston. How come all my favorite teams got dudes with rape charges? But anyway, but you know the thing is with him, they never found any kind of evidence, no charges, and people still out here thinking he raped the chick, and she's still going at him, and people are mad that he counter suing. I'm like, he keeps saying he raped them. He should do it too.
Maybe Derrick Rose, maybe one of his homies, maybe he has a fall guy or something, and then he ain't got to worry about it because he got a fall guy. I mean, they're going to bail him out anyway.
You got to call CC and see how that works.
I'm sorry, but
we're definitely going to revisit that later in the show. But like you said, Jimmy, maybe, Derrick can do his time on the weekend so he can still play in the weekday games. Or he could be like the Blade Runner, who shot his chick and then got out of jail after 10 months. So who knows, man?
He's not white. He may be light-skinned. And this light-skinned dude starting to take a slide here now, starting with Matt Barnes. But, the thing is that people, I believe in that, hey, if he did it, it comes out he did it, hey, he's wrong, they got to handle that. But if he comes out that he didn't do anything wrong, she's just a side chick. And plus his attorney said it's the third attorney that she hired to try to get money out of Derrick Rose. and so the thing is that if it comes out of proof that she's out for a money grab, will those people straight turn around and be like, my bad, Derrick? Or better yet, I got one for you guys. I know you guys got to go. Guys, hit the case about football. I know you guys may talk about this. Why are folks still mad at Mike Vick? And the Steelers got to do that.
Definitely keep it locked because we're going to talk about that. That's one of the other main topics of the show. We're going to talk about a little more about Derrick Rose, and we're going to talk a little bit about the situation going on in Pittsburgh. Man. So check us out.
We know B. Austin going to be hating. We know how B. Austin is. B. Austin be hating. We know how he feel about D. Rose. We already know what he's going to say. You guys take it easy, man.
As usual, man. You on fire tonight. Thank you for your call, good brother. Take it easy.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, man. Tobias like, we on fire tonight.
Tobias went right in. He wasted no time. Like, let's be honest here. He's a coon. Like, damn. He wasted no time throwing shots to CC, man. But, so, that's what's going on with that. But let's stick to football. We're on football. You guys, quarterback, Sam Bradford. What do you guys think about that hit that he took from Suggs? I know, you're quarterback. I know, right? It's weird. Definitely weird. What do you guys think about the hit, though? Was that a dirty hit, or was it much ado about nothing, or is he, like, not a football player? I know that on the show, we've talked about the fact that quarterbacks should be hit since they want to run that nut-ass offense, but what do you guys think now that your quarterback got laid out?
And Jimmy made the point that I was about to make, because before mainstream sports media even made it popular for people to know how to kind of thwart the read option, we were saying that, before, when everybody thought it was the next big thing. And we were talking about, if you just keep hitting the quarterback, which should be legal because you don't know whether he has the ball or not, so he's in a running posture, all the rules that they've come up with to kind of describe that and explain it are things that we talked about before. So I still stick with that, whether it's my team or anybody else's team. I think if you're running the read option, I think whether you even look like you're going to take a chance on the running back, you hit the quarterback and let everybody else deal with the running back just to stop them from running, that offense. Now, the whole Suggs thing, I don't think the whole question is whether or not hitting him because he may have been in a read option posture, which Chip Kelly and the Eagles deny later on, saying that he wasn't in a running posture. But let's throw that out the window. The handoff, a read option fake kind of looks a little different than a regular old play action fake. So I'm going to go with read option. So I think hitting them is fine. But with the new rules started when Tom Brady got hurt, it's a little iffy when you look like you're deliberately going after the quarterback's knees, especially a quarterback who's had knee problems in the past, who has knee problems in the present. But I still say all that to say I don't have a problem with it. Hit him. He's playing football. I don't like those rules anyway. I don't like the knee rules anyway. Everybody else can get hit on the knee. I can't a quarterback. So
for the love and respect of the game of football, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Have been, will be, unfortunately, probably for the rest of life. Objectively speaking, I totally agree with what my comrade just said. The game of football is about being hit. If a quarterback is in the read option, if the quarterback is running his own read, blow his ass up. Now, what I think happened, and this is just my interpretation, I've watched the play about 8 times back. What I think happened is Terrell Suggs he was playing a game with Sam Bradford's mind, and he went low when he could have went high. If he'd have went high, he probably actually would have drawn a flag for blowing him up too much. So we've got a question, where do I target? What do I hit? I noticed, I believe Suggs kind of pulled up and didn't run through that tackle. I think he went low, understanding I don't have to really hit this guy to hurt him. I don't really have to take his knee out. The mere fact that I'm going low on a guy whose knees are brittle is going to make that guy think. And that's part of the game. That's gamesmanship. So I've seen Suggs run through tackles. I've seen what Suggs can do. Suggs could have blown his knee and had his knee going the other way. He didn't do that. He went low, and he made Bradford think. And he got the flag for it. That's what I think happened. I don't think he was trying to hurt him. I think he was trying to make him think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with you. You never know. I mean, none of us really will never know whether he was intentionally trying to do it. But the fact of the matter is, we are talking about football here. It just
didn't deserve a flag.
Well, I think I heard that they actually, after the fact, said that the league said there shouldn't have been a flag thrown on that play.
Yeah, the league did say that.
Yeah, and that's when Chip Kelly got involved, and but I think even on Chip Kelly's part, I think he's just doing what he has to do. You have to stick up for your guy. But I think he knows.
Absolutely.
Chip Kelly from college. He don't know the rules. He don't know what he's doing.
If you don't stick up for your guy, that's a bigger issue than what we're even talking about. So I definitely agree with you on that. Keeping it football, right? Now we talked about your quarterback. Let's talk about my quarterback, man. Because
Jim, real quick, that's nothing new either for the Ravens because they were the first team that actually showed that methodology. Remember in the Super Bowl, they just kept hitting Kaepernick after he faked the handoff or after he gave the handoff. They just kept smacking him. So that's what they do. But, right.
Yeah, we're gonna bring on Fred Perdue pretty soon, but we have to talk about my quarterback real fast, Peyton Manning, right? Now here's the thing. I always thought that it would be a year where Peyton would have a tremendous drop off and we were going to be in trouble for it. So, I'm like, every year he talks about retiring. I'm like, eventually he's going to have that year. I'm praying it's not this year because story comes out about Peyton Manning saying he has no feeling in his fingertips. And I've been watching him play in the preseason, and, his arm is like Zab Judah's leg. It's gone. His arm is he now has a noodle arm. I don't think he has feelings in his whole arm at this point. Maybe he's like just taking the funk because it's the preseason. But some of those passes he be throwing, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are those? Because, his arm is gone. Like, damn, Peyton, let's just hope that this is like the Kaiser Sose fake out. I don't know. Only time will tell. But what do you guys think about a quarterback saying he's feeling in his fingertips?
Well, he said that the whole time he's been in Denver, it's been that way. He's saying, I still don't have feelings in my fingertips. And they said, over his span in Denver, he's thrown 1,245 passes for 14,863 yards. All of this without feeling supposedly in his fingers from that neck surgery and what it did to his nerves. So it's scary to hear somebody talk like that, especially somebody that's getting older anyway. And like Jimmy said, his arm has started to lack a little bit in the past few seasons as well. So if you add the aging process to an already messed up nervous system, like you could be in for that drop off that you feared. But I don't know. I think Peyton is the type of dude who knows when to quit. So
he knows what he can and can't do. I think this is the last hurrah.
Y'all won't be going deep this season.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely, he's going to play this season. He may or may not play next season, but it's guaranteed that he's not playing in 2017, 2018. Like, at max, I think there's only 2 more years left on dude. It's scary. He's one of my favorite players of all time, the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen play the game. It's scary, man. I mean, the thing that I admire most about him is kind of the same way that I gained more respect and admiration for Michael Jordan with the Wizards, because his ability to dominate is almost all mental. Athletically, it ain't nowhere near what it was. Like when he came in the league, he had a hand cannon. Now he's got a pop gun, but he still gets it done and makes the right throws and the right decisions based on timing and anticipation and understanding how to influence defenses. So it'll be interesting to see the chess match that he plays with secondaries and front sevens this season. Yeah. But man, you can't feel what type of sacrifices you've given.
Even at the end of last season, his timing seemed to be a little off.
That was that. So, he was playing with a torn quad.
A lot of wobbly. Couldn't step into it.
I understand that, man. But all I'm telling you is, have you watched him throw the ball recently? It's not the same. Like, it ain't the same sandwich. Like, I'm hoping that it's not the case. Like, I'm hoping it's not the case. But I'm just keeping it real. I gotta be objective. Like, my man is out there with a Zab Judah noodle arm. Like, it's just crazy right now, man. But speaking of preseason, before we bring Fred on, just real quick, have you gentlemen watched any preseason? And if so, who has stood out to you in this preseason? I told you who did stand out to me was Peyton's arm, but I want to get your guys' opinion. Who stood out to you?
Oh, don't all go at once.
Yeah, I mean,
the strong safety who's taken over for Troy. Palomalu has stood out. He's balling. From my Philadelphia Eagles, Kejon Barner, the 4th-string tailback, will not be the 4th-string tailback by the end of the season because Spray Tan Murray is not going to make it through a full season, and Ryan Matthews will be injured by at least week 5 because Ryan Matthews is always injured by week 5 or 6. So I think we're going to see a lot of Kejon Barner from my Eagles, a lot more. Who else is standing out? Up in Buffalo, Sammy Watkins standing out a little bit. And that's all I got for you.
Yeah, it's not too many stand out to me. Now, again, I'm also one of the guys that doesn't put a lot of stock in preseason. But the one thing I have noticed, I want to bring up real quick before we bring Fred on in reference to preseason. I see a lot of people getting hurt. Like, I don't know what football has to do. They're talking about adding more games, and I'm like, yo, I just don't see it because between the OTAs, all the practices, and the preseason, by the time we get to the end of the season, we don't even have the best players on the field anymore because cats are always hurt. So I don't know what's going to happen in football, but it seems to be getting like more and more lethal as time goes on. So that's my one takeaway from the preseason as far as like, yo, cats are getting hurt and something has to be done about that. Now, for those who may have been living under a rock and don't know, we have our own college football expert, Fred Purdue,
yes,
New England Patriots fan. So let's get Fred Purdue right on. We want to bring him on to talk some college pigskin, see what's going on with Fred. Fred, we have you in the war room. What's going on, good brothers?
What's going on, fellas? I'm liking the football season right now. What's going on?
Fred Purdue, everybody, of the Ion Sports Podcast. Yo, college football,
one
man.
Thing I want to say, Fred Purdue, about college football, as well as it relates back to my last question we were just talking about, who stood out. I do want to give a shout out to Jameis Winston because, again, it's preseason. I don't put too much stock into it. But my man's looking like a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying he's going to be great. I'm just saying he's looking like a pro.
Honestly, so is Marcus Mariota, too, though.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good.
They're both looking at it.
I'm looking at my dark-skinned brothers right now, and stop that. All I'm saying is Jameis Winston looked like he can play in this league, man. So, and we know that what he did in college, man. So what do you think about that, Fred? Like, what do you think about the two quarterbacks thus far looking like they can play at this level?
I think they got the first game jitters out the way. I'm not sold on Mariota, but I've said it since he was at Florida State. Jameis Winston is probably the best quarterback we've seen since Andrew Luck, and I know it sounds like it's been a 5 or 10 years or something, but it really is with the lack of quality quarterbacks and the lack of quality guys that are coming in over the next few years. Jameis might be the last of a few great ones because I do not see a lot left.
There are no prospects out there you see?
I mean, there are a lot of great college guys, but to just a few names that just kind of come to my head. Kevin Hogan from Stanford, early promising seasons, but he has a really long release. Christian Hackenberg from Penn State, he was the darling of those recruiting classes a couple years ago. He's very inconsistent. Cody Kessler's too short. I like him as far as a college player, but as an NFL player, 6'1" is just not 6'1" is just not my cup of tea. I like a bit of a more taller quarterback, and he's a bit inconsistent, playing in a wide open offense. Trevon Boykin's a wide receiver playing quarterback. Dak Prescott is Tim Tebow 2.0. He still can't throw. Everett Golden.
Well, here's the question.
Is a dual threat.
Here's the question, because you gave us 1,000 names already. We get the point. But here's my question to you. Do you think these guys can be developed? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, they're at the level below the pros. So can they be developed to, be a professional quarterback? Or you just think that the game of college has changed and it's not even about that anymore?
I think it's more of the game. The college game has changed so much with the implementation of the spread offense, the zone read, and a lot of the wide open passing offenses where you're really just throwing a lot of bubble screens and slants letting guys get open in space. No one's having to read a true defense. No one's having to ask. No, wide receivers aren't asked to run a full route tree. The NFL is a lot more complex, and if you look at the struggles of guys like RG3, even Cam Newton, it's very evident that the college game is really dumbed down to the point where it's almost like an extended version of high school.
So basically, so here's my question. It sounds like they've dumbed down their lyrics to double their dollars, so to speak. Like they've dumbed the game down. But my question is this though. Now, this is just thinking long term. Is that what the NFL is going to do? Because if you don't have the guys coming in that can do what we're accustomed to seeing them do, they have no choice but to do the same thing, right?
Yes and no, because at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are you're gonna have the guys like Colin Kaepernick who are on the lower end of that top 20 quarterbacks that aren't going to be just shuffled around. But then you also have the Andrew Lucks of the world, who you'll get one of those every 5 or 6 years, and there'll be someone that comes around that kind of takes over for that guy that retires like a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. At some point, there's going to be a guy every 5 or 6 years that emerges. So I don't think so. I don't think it'll ever get to the point where you're seeing quarterbacks running around everywhere. Guys take too many hits. And
so basically, you're saying we're only going to get a good quarterback every 5 years, and then you made a mistake and you said Colin Kaepernick is top 20.
Be honest, I think within a couple of years we're going to move backwards to like it was in the 50s. Like
we're going to go wing T.
I agree. Wing T, baby. We're not even throwing the ball no more. We don't even have guys that go right here. Get a seal right here, and then you run the alley.
Hey Fred, let's switch gears a little bit because I know we wanted to talk to you about the little situation that went on in Boise State. We got ourselves a legal situation and a dismissal. What's the deal over there?
Well, we have Sam Awachu. He was a Boise State player at the time with Chris Peterson, who's now at Washington. He transferred to Baylor, and he also had an opportunity to transfer to the University of Florida. The University of Florida denied him a transfer when Will Muschamp was there. Due to some assault on women. I don't understand why these football players keep just assaulting women and thinking they can get away with it, unless you're Florida State running back down
has a
bunch of jurors.
Andre Young on. Andre Youngism.
But he transferred to Baylor, and Art Briles, their head coach, says he knew nothing about any of this. I really don't believe this. He was actually he's been put on probation for he's going to be serving some jail time and put on probation for 10 years, 6 months 6 months in jail. He's no longer on the team, obviously. But it's a lot of he said. Chris Peterson says he gave all the information to Art Briles. Art Briles says, no, I don't know anything. But if the University of Florida, with Jeremy Foley as their AD, one of the best ADs in the country, and Will Muschamp, one of the better character guys, maybe not the best coach in the world, but a great character guy, saw right through everything. I'm very, very sure Art Briles should have known something about this. Even if he didn't, with all the resources these coaches have, you're telling me you can find your football player that stays out all night because you know someone in the police department, but you can't find anything out about a player that's transferring in. I don't believe that.
All right. Well, something else that I wanted to ask you about. Now, we know that the big conversation in college sports over the past 5 years or so has been about, whether or not to pay guys. We know that conversation is going to keep going on, but I read something about schools potentially fining kids for disciplinary action by taking costs from their attendance. From what's that? Are they taking scholarship money or something from them? What are they doing here?
Well, it started a little bit at Virginia Tech. Their coaches have decided to fine players. Essentially, they're holding them accountable, but instead of not only suspending them, they'll be taking some of that cost of attendance money that they're receiving as well. Simple things such as missing class, you could be fined $30. You could, for missing a tutor or being disruptive in study hall, it's $10 or $5. If you commit a flagrant foul, or if, let's say, you get flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct, you know how we all like the celebrations and everything. But if you get flagged for that, because it is a rule, you are fined $100. And for me, I actually like the rule simply because you're holding these players accountable not only with, well, we're going to suspend you, but because you're the best player on the team, we may not suspend you that whole game or that full quarter. But if you hit them where it matters and it really matters to them in their pocket, I like it. There's not huge amounts of money. A lot of these are 10, 20, maybe they even have some.
Fred, I understand that, it's not huge amounts. It's kind of pocket change. But don't you think that's a little bit hypocritical? Because when we talk about, and I'm not really a proponent for college athletes being paid, and besides, costs that they need, maybe, putting some money up for them when they graduate, something like that. I'm not for them like getting a paycheck every week or anything like that. But at the same time, when these folks in the NCAA are arguing against that, the first thing they want to go to is, this is an amateur sport. This is not a professional sport. So if this is an amateur sport and you don't get paid for this, how can they fine you? Even if it's $5, how can they fine you as if you play a professional sport? Like, I don't get that part.
Yo, I don't get it either. I gotta chime in on this. I think that's a bunch of mamma jambo. Who came up with it? Is it gonna call us the James Brown rule? Like, what is this? Like, you talk about it. Not that they're not professionals. You want to fine them. Meanwhile, coaches do whatever they want to do. We think coaches don't get fined. FOH. I mean, these guys are young men these are kids growing into young men. They're going to make mistakes, but part of the whole thing is about them learning to become a man, not necessarily just like, punishing them and nickel and diming them here and there. And then at what point does it stop? And I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm for them getting paid, but I guess we agree because I'm not for them getting a paycheck, but I'm for something being set aside for them, or just something different than what's currently happening. Let's put it that way. But to add this on, Fred, I can't agree with that. I think this is ridiculous. Like, who made this? James Brown, Joseph Stalin? Like, who's responsible for this?
Well, it's not at every school. It was implemented at Virginia Tech, where Frank Beamer is the head coach. And to me, I essentially like it more so if you have these players that tend to miss class and think they're just above everyone else because they may be the star player.
So, Fred, you're all for the totalitarian dictatorship that's going on. Like, how is this really teaching accountability when they can point to the coaches and they can point to the institutions that get away with this BS all the time? Like, it's a contradiction.
And I disagree that that's hitting a college student where it hurts because, finding them $10, I really think suspending this guy for a game hurts them way more, especially star players, because say if you're a Jameis Winston, when they, little chicken SHITs suspended him for a half instead of suspending him for a game, one, because they know he's a Heisman candidate, and Heisman candidates can't miss a game because then your candidacy is gone. Two, you're a national championship contender as the school, and if you sit him down for a whole game, you're risking, in college, one game.
Your own money. Your own money.
National championship and risk the university's money, like Jimmy just said. So I think in professional sports, you hitting them where it hurts if you're giving out big fines. But and like I said, I understand that this is something small, but that's not punishment. That's not making them, because the guys who can pay it, the guys with parents that got money that can pay a $10 fine, is going to pay a $10 fine as long as he can play that day. So he's not learning anything. He's not learning anything.
He's not learning anything. And also, if I'm a competing school, I'm gonna use this against him. When we're recruiting the same player, I'm like, oh, you want to go there where you get fined, and I'm gonna make it sound a lot worse than what it really is anyway. So at the end of the day, this is not. It can't last because you're gonna become a joke. You gotta recruit against teams that are competing against you. And it's like, if I'm one of the best players in the country, am I gonna go there? Like, what's that about? So just had to chime in with that, Fred. But
now for me, I'm for the players getting something, not NFL paychecks, maybe a little bit of a stipend somewhere here and there. But I'm also not. I don't believe I'm kind of in the middle because the players aren't completely right, but the infrastructure that the NCAA has too, they're not completely right either. Players, they choose to live off campus. That's completely on you. You could eat all the food you want and get all the free housing you want living on campus. You can't take gifts. You can't do that. But when I hear players say we're broke and we don't have any money, that's because you're staying off campus. You're going out to the clubs. You're doing, and granted, some of this stuff it's part of the college experience, but you're also putting money out where you don't necessarily have to. So it's very subjective, and it depends on who you listen to. Because some star athletes, they get money under the table. They're just fine. But the player that's at the bottom of the roster that doesn't get any playing time, his jersey's not selling, no one knows who he is.
He's a dude that just needs to stay his ass in his room and do his homework. Look, man, before we get you out of here, we want to get your predictions for the upcoming season, for the 5 power conferences. Tell us who's going to win each conference. Give me your playoff choices, your national championship game, and your national champion, and who's going to win that Heisman Trophy.
Well, we'll start in the ACC. It's Florida State's division. Clemson will give a little bit of resistance. Georgia Tech will meet them in the ACC title game, but Florida State will eventually win out yet again. Don't like it because I'm a Miami Hurricane fan, and we all know this. But
you're still biased to Florida. You always pick Florida for something.
Down in the SEC, where I'm a little bit more, I'm the one that's moving on from one conference to another, I guess you could say. I cover the SEC now for About.com. I've taken Alabama to go ahead and win this division in the West, and Georgia to come out of the Tide. I know Tobias said a little something last week, and I kind of got him a little riled up, I know. But I can't go against Nick Saban. There's something about Nick Saban when he doesn't have a quarterback and no one knows about him, and he's not giving any information. That's when he's most dangerous. Jeremy Johnson and Auburn will give him a run for his money, but Alabama wins the SEC. Ohio State, we don't even have to say much about them. They have a 1-game season. They're playing Michigan State. They win that game. They win that conference. There's no any other competition in that conference. The Pac-12, I'm looking at Oregon, maybe, just maybe, but I'm going with Stanford. They were young last year. Kevin Hogan's a senior. David Shaw has a rebooted team. I think Stanford's going to run the table and win the Pac-12. My potential Heisman winner, you just got to wait. TCU out of the Big 12, Trevon Boykin is going to light teams up. I'm looking forward to a 3,000 to 4,000 yard passing year with 1,000 yards rushing type of year, like Heisman, really big Heisman numbers. And for my playoff teams, I have Alabama, Ohio State, TCU, and it's very tough for me to say this, but I think we're going to get Auburn in this. We're going to have 2 SEC teams. They're going to love seeing Alabama-Auburn so much that we're going to get to see 2 SEC teams from the same conference in this playoff this year, with Alabama eventually winning out and playing TCU in the national title game. But Alabama falls to TCU and eventual Heisman Trophy winner Trevon Boykin.
I got a question. For you, Fred. Is Penn State quarterback Christian Hackenberg a real threat to win the Heisman?
No, not really. He's very inconsistent. I like his pro prospects more than his Heisman contendership.
Gotcha.
All right, that's what's up. Fred, let everybody know where they can find you on Mondays, where they can find you every day on the internet and social media. Do that commercial.
Well, you guys can check me out on the EOS podcast every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Me and my co-host Rick Brown, we're always producing a great show. We're going to be talking a lot of football. It is football season. Sorry, basketball heads, we gave you your time, but it's football season, so we'll get back to basketball soon. And baseball, we haven't forgotten about you either. You can check me out on Twitter at FPurdue Sports, talking college football, NFL, high school football too. as well. And you can check me out on about.com covering the SEC. A couple projects going up tomorrow. You can have my SEC outlooks, predictions, picks, Heisman contenders, and my ranking every quarterback in that conference.
All right, and as usual, y'all can catch him here every week in the War Room talking college football. And when our season starts back up very soon, you can catch him on Field Vision on War Room Sports TV. So, Fred, great to have you again. We will talk to you next week, good bro.
All right, guys. And by the way, no Jay Cutler this year. I got to reiterate that. No more Jay Cutler. Never again.
All right, no Jay. That's the new hashtag, no Jay Cutler. All right, man. Talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
All right, that's Fred Perdue, everybody. Eye on Sports Podcast. Check it out. Soon you will be able to check it out right here on the War Room Sports Podcast Network at warroomsports.com. So before we move on to some hot topics, you guys know the drill. You can check out our website, warroomsports.com. Call in and speak with us right now about any of today's topics. You can just dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. All right. Hot topics. Jimmy, you want to let everybody know who hot topics are brought to them by?
Absolutely. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports. That's right. audibletrial.com/warroomsports. And because you use that link, you'll get a free audiobook. Who doesn't like anything free? A lot of great sports books. We got hood novels. We got intellectual books. If you want to, step your intellectualism up, you can do all that through Audible. That's audibletrial.com/warroomsports.
All righty then. Let's get into these hot topics. And, real quick, before we talk about these hot topics, we just want to give a rest in peace shout out to IndyCar driver Justin Wilson, who died on Monday. He was struck in the head by airborne debris from another car that crashed, and then he crashed into a wall on the track. He later died of those complications. So we want to give a shout out to him. And the crazy part about it is a story came out today saying he was an organ donor. So he helped 6 people with his organ donations. So shout out to him again, and rest in peace to Justin Wilson, former IndyCar driver who passed away on Monday. That's crazy, man. It's a crazy sport, especially them open cars. Let's talk about a little something. I think one of you guys mentioned it earlier. Caller might have mentioned it. But the situation that's going on in Pittsburgh right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers have signed quarterback Michael Vick to be their backup, or one of their backup quarterbacks, on a 1-year deal. The city of Pittsburgh, a lot of people in the city of Pittsburgh and surrounding areas, Steeler fans, they're having a very big problem with Michael Vick being a part of the team. So someone started a petition to get Michael Vick off of the team. And, of course, this is all about his past with dog fighting and the fact that he allegedly killed a few dogs himself. And as of yesterday, the petition already had 15,000 signatures. Now, let me read you guys what the petition says, and you can basically see what kind of person this is who started this. If you hear me sounding a little choppy, a little broken English, that is not my reading. That is, I'm reading it exactly the way it was written. It says, quote, dang, I just had it up and then I lost it. Quote, Michael Vick is a convicted felon and no-class piece of crap. He is also a terrible QB, which is why he has no team. Let's unite it as Steelers fans, as NFL fans, and stop him from playing on our team. Steelers fans united. Signed to keep Vick from ever wearing the coveted Steelers uniform. Now, first, whoever wrote this petition is giving a bad name to Steelers fans because y'all look like Hicks and y'all look like y'all wrote this on a FarmersOnly.com profile. What do you guys think of this petition that already had over 15,000 signatures as of yesterday?
I think it's just another indication of some of the social discord that lies beneath the surface and bubbles over in recent years. There's a lot at work here. There's a lot at work. Like, on one level, you don't have to like Mike Vick. He played for my Eagles. Mike Vick, as an actual quarterback, is a bum. He's garbage. He's trash truck TTJ. He is whack. As a human being, as a man, even as a football player, I wouldn't say Mike Vick is a bad football player. He's a pretty good locker room influence from what I've been told from insiders. The problem here is the fans are judging him based on his cruelty to animals, which he did Fed time for. He was locked away in a federal penitentiary. He served his debt to society. He then had bad legal and financial advice, in which case they took his liquid assets and his cash flow and actually fully paid his Chapter 13 bankruptcy off. So he's paid all his creditors, and then we had a big celebration about that. Meanwhile, all of the real G's out here in the financial world, shout out to Donald Trump running for president, they don't pay down bankruptcy, but that's a whole nother issue. That's whatever. Why is this man still harangued about dogfighting? Like we understand it is something that he'll have to live with forever, but there's so many examples. There's a guy that illegally shot an endangered lion, and depending on the circles you travel in, he's a hero. He's celebrated. In other circles, he's a piece of trash as well. Then on your team, if you go to Pittsburgh and you look at some of the things that Ben Roethlisberger has been accused of, not convicted, but accused of, to me, value the life of a human being and a woman, and the sanctity of her choice and decisions a little bit more than the life of a dog. But, Ben has gone through his little tangles with the law and his accusations of being, a rapist or sexual assault. And while he hasn't been convicted, it has been more than one time. So it establishes some sort of beginnings of a pattern. But Pittsburgh fans are over that. They're past that by and large.
I think you make the greatest point right there, because you asked at first, like, why is he still being harangued? My thing is more so than him just being harangued, because people who love dogs, and they're going to hate the man for the rest of their lives. However, the point you made is, okay, you guys are diehard fans. You root for a guy who has been accused of rape on 2 different occasions. I'm not a Ben Roethlisberger detractor. I don't know if he did that or if he didn't. I mean, when it starts to be multiple accusations, it starts to get a little bit established. Yeah. Right. But I'm not accused. I'm not saying he did or he didn't, but it's a little hypocritical of people to be so judgmental of a guy who did what he did, made his mistakes. He I don't really like to use that cliche, paid his debt to society, but he did his time. And I don't think that paying his debt to society is him actually being in jail. I think the stuff that Mike Vick does for animals and animal cruelty now that he's out of jail and volunteering his time and services, I think that's more so paying his debt than sitting behind some bars. That's why I never liked that phrase, paid your debt to society. Why? Just by sitting behind some bars.
You're right. Let me make one more point too, Dev.
It's hypocritical, man. It's real hypocritical.
One more point, and we gotta hear from Jimmy. I know it's coming. Pause. It feels like there's a certain segment of the population that when it's a player or a figure in society that they can relate to or that they like and what have you, then it's I hear this used. Let's wait till we hear or see all the facts. Let's allow the justice system to do its job. Let's not rush.
And that's on both
justice.
sides. That's on both sides.
Yeah. But when it's someone that you have an issue with, or there's a personal discord, or you can't relate to that player for whatever the reason, then he's guilty. Then it's the memes. The memes start flying around. Then it's petitions. Then, a certain group of people, they're willing to put their money where their mouth is, because now crowdfunding is the rage, and we get petitions and we get money raised, we get petitions signed, we get all types of stuff that comes out based on them not liking a player. I don't have a problem if you want to petition, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, if you want to petition to get Mike Vick off of your team because he's a bum and he's trash truck juice and he's this and he's that and he's a terrible quarterback. But if that's the case, you guys should have had that same petition running for Ben Roethlisberger when he was accused not once but twice on separate occasions, separate women unrelated, of being a rapist and guilty of sexual assault. I didn't see the same vigor and anger there as I do. Then it was wait until all the facts come out. Let's wait and see what happens in a court of law. But with someone who gets paid the debt to society, as you call it, then it's, he's a horrible human being because he's a dog killer. And it's come on, man. Pittsburgh.
Let me jump in real quick, because I just want to say, first off, I am a dog lover. But with that being said, Vic did what he did. He didn't use a fall guy. He accepted responsibility. He went to prison. He came home. He seems to be doing everything right since this has happened. He hasn't been back in trouble again. He seems to be doing everything right. I couldn't really believe this, and it's not. Of course, the first thing that jumps to everybody's mind is Ben Roethlisberger. When I start thinking about the Steelers, I'm like, Hines Ward used to get a DUI like every 2 weeks, and they cheered for him like it was nobody's business. Then I start thinking about James Harrison.
I forgot that.
James Harrison was arrested for domestic violence, and he retired. And when he came back, they welcomed him and gave him a standing ovation, like a hero was coming back. Then I'm thinking, like, all right, well, this is completely hypocritical. Then I start looking at, like, pictures of the Steelers team. Now I'm like, Le'Veon Bell is missing games for a drug-related charge, and they can't wait till he comes back this season. I don't understand, like, the hypocrisy with this. And then it's just like, I mean, the man that again, the whole paid is society cliche, but at the end of the day, he accepted responsibility. He said, look, I did it. It's not even a matter of innocence or guilt. And he hasn't done anything since then. It's like, people can't make mistakes. Imagine being judged by the biggest mistake you've ever made for the rest of your life, because that's pretty much what he's going to have to deal with. But the same people who signed that petition, I guarantee you, wouldn't want their biggest mistake they've ever made to sit with them for the rest of their life, because we're all humans and we all make mistakes. The fact of the matter is he got a second chance and he hasn't done anything since then. It's unbelievable, like, how these people say that when their team is the Steelers and they're full of a bunch of guys. I saw somewhere online, like, the amount of players that have been arrested that are on the Steelers, and it's like it's multiple players. Even their kicker, I think, got arrested for something. Like,
they got the police blotter blotting.
Yeah, these people have to get it. And the thing is, I'm a dog lover. I thought what he did was reprehensible, but at the same time, he got charged. He did his time. He admitted to it, and he's taking responsibility for it. Like, these people who have just like this moral high ground they want to use, it's out of control, because man, listen,
Jimmy, only use the moral high ground when it's convenient.
Convenient. I've done terrible. Listen, I've done terrible things in my life, but I'm also blessed that I don't have to sit there and live with a lot of them. Like, this guy's have to deal with that. That's something he has to deal with. But for you to try to make him lose his job, what do you get out of him not being on your team at the end of the day? Like, cut it out. People take sports way too serious, and they take themselves way too serious, man. A lot of these, like, and let's just call it what it is. A lot of these poor white folks don't even know, like, what's going on. You bring up Trump. These are the same people supporting Trump. Like, just a bunch of idiots who just, I question whether they can read or write, let alone sign a petition. FOH.
Hey, did you read that petition? That's a good question.
Yeah, my thing is, man, set your penmanship up, man. Spell check.
And the worst part is 15,000 people signed. Like, I'm not signing a petition where that's poorly written. Like, that's one thing. I can't get behind you if you don't know how to write English. So,
Deb is a grammar Nazi.
Yeah, so if you write something and it's crazy, I'm not putting my name on that.
Like, it makes me, and the thing is, I don't really care about the Steelers, but now it makes me not want to root for them just because of the idiot fans.
Yeah. Now, speaking, because we brought up, like I said, like one of you guys said, the first thing you think of in this situation is Ben Roethlisberger and how he's had some heinous accusations that he's gotten out of, and he basically seems to have skirted the harassment about it, except for when something else comes out, and then most of the time it's like black people. We kind of use Ben Roethlisberger as our defense mechanism. What about Ben? Ben did this, Ben did that. But speaking of that, man, it was brought up earlier when Tobias called because he's a Chicago Bulls fan. Derrick Rose he has a very ugly accusation hanging over his head. They said an ex-girlfriend has accused him of drugging her, and he and his friends gang raping her. The woman was identified only as Jane Doe. I guess her name is not public. They supposedly, I got the air quotes up, allegedly dated from 2011 to 2013. They said during that time, Rose allegedly tried to pressure her to masturbate in front of him, allow him to have sex with her friends, and engage in group sex with strangers, all of which she refused. Rose accusers then said the two continued to date until August 2013 when Rose and two of his friends, Ryan Allen and Randall Hampton, who is also Rose's personal manager, invited her to his Beverly Hills home. She said there they slipped a drug into her drink with the aim of raping her. She escaped the house with a friend. Later that night, Rose and his friends broke into her apartment and gang raped her while she was incapacitated. And she said she only remembers flashes of the incident but could remember the defendants forcibly raping her. So this is an ugly, ugly, ugly accusation. And we didn't even post this on our social media, but we kind of hinted at it earlier, saying Derrick Rose told us it ain't so. And of course, one of the biggest Chicago Bulls homers we know ever in life came on and immediately defended Derrick Rose. And it goes back to what B. Austin just said. It depends on your state that you have in the situation. Now, you're a diehard Bulls fan. He's your guy. You're going to come on and defend him and discredit this woman, whether you know her or even know him personally or not. Because people are speaking on what kind of guy Derrick is and what kind of personality. We don't know what kind of personality Derrick Rose has. Yeah, we don't know.
And no details needed for defense. Just I like the way he plays basketball for my team.
Exactly. So he plays for my team.
Yeah.
These are ugly.
This is a very ugly allegation. First, I want to say, on behalf of War Room Sports, we do not in any way, shape, fashion, or form condone or support rapists or sexual assaulters. We believe that they should be castrated and given to the hardest of hard criminals in some of the worst prisons in the world for them to be able to do what they will.
How is that pleasurable? How is it even pleasurable?
To force yourself.
We don't. Moisture is out here to be freely given by ladies who enjoy you. Like there's no I don't understand it. I don't get it. It should be punishable.
There are so many young ladies. There's so many young ladies out here with low self-esteem who father left. That it's like yams are free and easy.
Yeah, yams are farming is. But what I will say is I find it very interesting that she waited. Which is not to say that it's illegitimate, an illegitimate allegation or claim or whatever, but she waited this long to come forward, and in coming forward, her decision is to pursue civil action for some sort of financial gain as opposed to the pursuit of criminal charges, which would could lead to, if convicted, some sort of repercussions criminally. Like it feels like it could be a money grab, but I'm not I don't want to discredit this woman because we don't know the facts. We don't know anything. We don't know what will come of this. It's just an interesting way to go. I'm reminded of Kobe Bryant's situation in Eagle, Colorado, where he took the booty. And the girl, she went and pursued civil action and said, I'm not even interested in criminal. I just want to get paid. Like
she played herself. She had sex.
Yeah. Here's the thing about this. Okay. I just want to say real fast that I hope this. It sounds very fishy, but the flip side of this is if she is lying, that hurts the people that really go through things like this and are telling the truth. Like you're not doing anyone sort of service by doing this if you're lying, because you're going to hurt people that really have to go through things. I'm not saying she's lying. I don't know. In the words of my man Tobias, we're going to wait till all the facts come out. But it sounds crazy.
Be honest with you. Hey, but Jim, I've tried to, because it's very easy to do that, and I've been guilty of it in the past. Like you look at what somebody's going after, and you're like, oh, this person's just trying to do that. But it's kind of, I don't know, man. I try not to question that anymore because it's kind of the world that we live in, man. People put a price on everything. People put a price on their self-esteem, their integrity, their cookie, all kinds of stuff. There's a price put on everything because we look at this situation and we immediately question a woman. But guys are the same way when there's money in the room. Like if you provoked a dude and a rich dude punched you in your face on camera for everybody to see, your immediate reaction is, oh, I'm going to get paid. It's not, this guy's going to jail for assault and battery.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Girls, they put a price on everything.
The reason why I said I'm waiting for the facts to come out is because she can't bring criminal charges. The state has to bring criminal charges. I don't know if she went that route. Yeah. I don't know if she went the route and reported it so they can follow up, or if they heard her story and they just didn't believe her, so she's left with no other alternative than to go this route. Because that's happened before as well, where someone goes to the cops and they're like, man, this story sounds crazy. So they have no other choice but to go civilly to get the story out there, and then maybe it's picked up criminally later. I don't know if that's their plan.
It happened with the Oakley trial. They couldn't get him convicted, so they screwed his ass.
Yeah, you try whatever you can. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the facts are, but I know the memes are already flying. I can tell you that much.
Right. But we do know that society today, people think money heals everything. So I'm not necessarily going to, say, oh, she's lying because she's trying to get money. I just think people are just warped these days, and they think money is the answer to everything. Every single thing. It's all about money.
But listen to this, though. Speaking of sexual assault, I got a breaking story real quick. And Ricardo Mayorga just dropped the video, and he's telling his fans that, here's his words, Sugar Shane Mosley asked me to do what he did at the press conference. He said Mosley told him his girlfriend would bend over and he would tap her on the butt.
Breaking news.
He's been basically getting attacked, through social media and people calling him all kinds of names, so he wanted to come out with the truth. He said it was a publicity stunt, and he says he doesn't need to sell the fight because in Nicaragua, where he's from, it's free. Mosley the one who wants to sell it. He said he's not a saint, but he's also not that vulgar. So he basically put Mosley out there.
And I believe him. Because, we talked about earlier, like, what you would do if faced with that scenario. That's another scenario. And it goes to what we were just talking about, Jimmy. Money is everything. So you're going to let this dude smack your chick on the butt on national TV, and so you can sell the fight a little bit more. It's like we will do anything for money right now.
Everything is for sale. Everything is for sale. The world is full of pimps and hoes.
Everything is for sale. So that's why I'm saying, like, in these rape accusations where they're just trying to pursue a civil suit, I don't necessarily, like, I used to, like, 100% believe that meant, oh man, she's just trying to, she lying. She's just trying to get some dough. Now I just think people put a price on everything. People think money is the answer to absolutely everything. So this dude is letting dudes smack his girl's butt at a press conference to sell a fight that nobody's going to watch. And now that Mayorga came out and said this, anybody who was duped into thinking they were going to buy that fight because of this, he just lost all of those fans. So for Shane's sake, I hope everybody already pushed the button on that buy this pay-per-view
Because Shane is a super doodle. He is a super. I have no respect. Yo, he's not even worthy of a JoJo. Like, he's something below that. Like, yo, you are a noodle.
So did y'all hear? MJ is, and he's basically in the news twice this week. But the NBA says that Michael Jordan can't pick Jordan brand endorsers. And this comes on the heels of the Clippers getting a $250,000 fine because they presented DeAndre Jordan with an impermissible third-party endorsement with Lexus to kind of sweeten the deal. They're like, okay, this is what we can pay you in salary, but we can get you a deal with Lexus to, circumvent that a little bit and basically help you out. So they were fined $250,000. So the league is saying Michael Jordan cannot use Jordan brand to try to lure cats in to basically say, okay, I can give you this in salary, but I can make you a Jordan brand athlete and pay you another $300,000 a year, from Jordan. So he can't use that as a selling point to come play for the Charlotte Hornets. Do you guys think that's fair, or is it a situation where it's like, use what you got to get what you want?
Man, listen,
I think it's unfair.
This has been going on forever.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think this is noodlery.
They're nipping it in the bud now.
I think this is noodlery. I think he should be allowed to basically do what he wants with his team and his money outside of, anything that's going to lead to injury. Like, why are they blocking that, man?
Well, all I want to say is, man,
you got to draw a line somewhere, though. You got to keep you got to keep the playing field a little bit even here. Like, if it comes down to this offer and that offer, and because Michael Jordan can offer me a sneaker deal that I wouldn't have got other than playing for his team, then you got to. That's a little.
Well, here's the thing. Like, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest here. Words of Tobias. That this has been going on forever, but you have to stop it because, again, it's 2015. Facts don't matter. It's all about the perception, and the perception is, or it actually is a fact. Who knows that you can get that deal if you go sign with the Hornets. So they had to stop it. I just want to say rest in peace to Dr. Jerry Buss, because I know for a fact that people wonder how the Lakers got all those good players. It was deals like this. It wasn't just the contracts. It was side deals. They came with young ladies who may or may not have been carrying germs, but that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is there were some other enticements outside of the contract. Shout out to the Forum Club, yo. Shout out to the Forum. Shout out to Dr. Jerry Buss, who used the world's oldest profession to win multiple championships.
Yeah, no doubt. And you guys know, first of all, Nike, their share is something like 95% of the basketball shoe share. Jordan brand is like 55 to 60% of basketball shoe brand. So it's a real unfair advantage, even though, I still don't see, the Hornets getting free agents that other people wouldn't have got. They're not going to get the whole crop just because Jordan is signing people, because to be real about it, the best players in the league have their own deals, be it with Nike, be it with Jordan, be it with whoever. But it does matter when you're battling for these little role players, these little veterans, and you're going to offer somebody a shoe deal just to come play for your team where they wouldn't even have gotten a deal with E-Tonic, any other way. So
here's my thing, man. Let me get my CC on to keep it real fast. In the hood, right? When you want to get your hands on the blicky, right? You have a thing that's known as a straw purchase, where someone who's legit goes and gets you whatever it is you want to get. Whether that's you wanting to get your hands on a blicky or Dev. You remember when you young boys, you be 12, 13, not snitching on ourselves, and you want to get a brew from the joint, you find you a smoker outside and make him go cop a smoker. Whoa! Yeah, I mean, so my thing is this though: you can't
give him a couple dollars to get him one.
You can't stop the bro. Let's just say that somebody goes to the Hornets and they end up getting a Jordan deal, but Jordan says, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Like, who's gonna really stop this? But you have to come out and put the story out there. So it's like,
because Jordan doesn't make all of those decisions. He can just put that on his executives. Like, yo, y'all get this man a deal.
He can get him a fall guy. Y'all get him
a fall guy.
Jordan gonna get him a fall guy. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Before we get out of here, gentlemen, I definitely got to ask, yo. Do you guys have your fall guys in place?
I don't want no fall guy. I told you earlier, I don't want nobody around me who's willing to even be a fall guy, man. I'm trying to live a square life right now, man.
But speaking of, if I'm in the same boat as Jimmy, like you stay away from those guys. But I know a couple guys.
Oh yeah, everybody knows somebody. Everybody knows somebody.
A couple dudes.
If you really want to keep it really real with yourself, as James Winston said, we all know somebody. I got family members, right, that are fall guys and have done so much dirt that, like, if I see them in the street, I speak and keep them. I don't even want to be standing next to you in the public longer than 3 seconds.
Yo,
who knows what can happen?
Word to growing up in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
straight up, man. It is.
Some dudes like going in and out. So being a fall guy is not a problem if they get to hang around somebody that they idolize and brain suck off their fame.
Not putting my family business out there, right? But I got a cousin that just came home, right? And I was adding it up because he's older than me. He's 40. He's older than me. I was adding it up.
We're losing sponsors right now.
He spent more time behind bars than in the streets in his life. I was adding it up like, yo, like you start adding it up. I'm like, yo, you add up all the times you went in. You've literally been in there. Like, you're not even home now. You're on vacation now.
I was about to say, it's kind of like home. I'm going on a vacation, fellas. I'll be back.
Crazy, right? Shout out to the prison industrial complex.
So he don't get the coming home party until he go back. Then they throw him a coming home party in the cafeteria or in the yard.
Yeah, it's a sad situation, man. But that's the world we live in, man. You know what I'm saying? He can't get one of them once a weekend for the rest of the year or something like that. But
I'm gonna put B. Austin right here on the spot before we leave, man. Go see Straight Outta Compton, man. We want to talk about it on one of these airwaves, audio, video. Go see Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, we gonna do a show on it. It's coming. It's coming.
By the time B. Austin see that,
I don't want it to be out on Blu-ray by the time we do the jam. Like
we're gonna have a Kendrick Lamar movie out by the time he gonna see it.
We're gonna do the break. We're gonna have it on War Room Sports TV. To our listeners, we're gonna have it on War Room Sports TV this coming week. The generals will get together and break down and give you knowledge, the strength of street knowledge on.
I go see it again. Just hit me up. We can go to the Magic. We can go we can go to the Germ Theater, and they got a 5:49 show like before noon on weekdays. That's what I saw it for $5.49. Magic be looking out, man.
Shout out to Magic, yo. Anyway, man, let's get out of here, man. Thanks for joining us again in War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook and Twitter. The calls we couldn't get to, we apologize. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but call back next week. Special thanks to Fred Perdue for joining us to talk his college football segment. Tune in next week, same time, same place, live right here on demand on the WRS Podcast Network for more great sports talk. We'll talk more preseason, and somebody will get arrested, somebody's wife's booty will get tapped, or something else will happen, and we'll talk about that. So until then, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here next time. Catch all of our conversations, Facebook and Twitter at War Room Sports. All of our content, blogs, webcasts, podcasts, everything can be found at warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Peace. War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.